Cradle, Dogs of Fount, Chapter 43, Part 3. I think all that stuff is, what's the word for it? Like, it's really vague, but I guess that's why they believe they know what they're talking about and why I'm skeptical, Nate explained. I never would have thought you believed in stuff like that, Heather said. Nate nodded and crossed his arms. I don't believe you should put that psychic stuff before faith, but there might be something to it. I would never really get deep into it. If I hear something that helps, good. They walked up to the counter with the sun shining on the shopkeeper, her hair in a halo of frizz around her head in the light. They smiled at each other awkwardly as the woman placed the toiletries in the brown woven sack. May I have a word with him? The woman asked Heather. Here we go again. Fine, Heather said and walked away as cool as she could. The woman turned to Nate and put his hand in both of hers. She looked into his eyes, and it looked like she had hints of blue in her brown irises. You must marry her, son, she began. If you don't tie your lives together, the two of you will suffer, and suffer greatly. Don't play because you're young, son. You found her. You see that? She released him, and they looked at each other for a moment. Thank you for that, Nate said, and walked out into the sun to Heather. She crossed her arms and blinked consciously a few times. They walked on in the silence, in the sun, in the breeze. Nate didn't know whether to feel relieved or trapped. He stole a few glances at Heather and wondered exactly why she was closing off now. She was hard to read for the fact that she could often be cold but never would abandon anyone. She held on but remained mostly silent. In the past, he thought that she may have been a victim of abuse when younger, but had never had the opportunity to come out if that was the case. His screen vibrated in his loose white pants. He took it out and read it closely while Heather tried to read his face. It's Ruiz, they said. He said he spotted a truck with kids in the back coming into Elena village. He thinks they may be slaves. Slaves for here or rescued slaves? Heather asked, not convinced. I think he thinks they're enslaved here, Nate answered. Bull. Yeah, I think so too, Nate agreed. In any case, we have to meet him, if only from stopping him from doing some dumb stuff. He doesn't have any guns. I wouldn't put him past him that he found a way around that, Nate returned. When they reached Ruiz at the tent he tagged on their maps, Nate and Heather could hear an argument from tens of yards away. Nate was in no mood for this drama, but he could see Heather quickening her steps in order to reach the tent as soon as possible. Inside, the tent was dim and lit only with deep amber flames of oil lanterns with thick threaded wicks holding the flames. Half of Ruiz's squad was standing between him as he stood in front of Chief Nolan's desk making his claim. Benton was on the side of the desk of Ruiz, but to his left. I saw it, man. I saw them with the kids in the truck. They had dirt on their faces, and they were hungry, Ruiz barked. They were rescued, Ruiz. They were brought here for freedom, Nolan said calmly but beginning to lose his cool. He even had to look away from Ruiz for a moment. Where do you think all this stuff comes from, Chief? The food we eat, the tents we stay in, the clean water from the rivers miles away? If you may let me speak, Chief, Benton asked, and the chief reluctantly nodded. We saved the children from secret work camps in the other Hong Kong. They are dirty because they aren't allowed to bathe but once every 2 weeks. Makes too much noise and they'd be charged by that city's government. That is, the slave owners. Once we bring the kids here, they belong to our orphanages that allow them freedom and space to be children. And honestly, most of them are quickly adopted by the folk of our city and live normal childhood lives. I know it looks bad because you don't know us, but these children are safe.